Hello, Reed with Model Metrics here. Wanted to check in to give you an update on some of the latest Cloud Converter features. I have a new release which is just being posted today, and it includes some exciting new capabilities. So let me jump over to a sample spreadsheet so you can see a couple of things that it's going to do. This is a simple spreadsheet, only listing 2 objects, but this is a brand new feature. Before we only had 1 tab available. Now we can do kind of n number of tabs. So this is a small app which basically relates publishers to publications. You'll see where we have 2 different publishers. They each have an ID. And then you'll see where on our publications we have individual IDs for the publications. We reference the publisher ID, and we have titles, authors, and we have a status field over here. So that's our target app that we're going to go ahead and import. And what I'm going to do now is click back over to a dev.org and click on the Cloud Converter tab. So this is a tab that I added in. It's a regular web tab. I have instructions for it on the blog, so it's easy to find how you can add this to any of your orgs. It works with Sandbox, it works with Enterprise Edition, Unlimited Edition, config-only sandboxes. Pretty much if you've got API access, you can use this. So here we are on the Cloud Converter main screen, and you'll see I have the same 2 options I had before. One is import, and then one is explore. In this case, we're going to go ahead and import. So I'll click on import, and you notice this hasn't changed. It's the same basic 3-step process. Click here to get started, and I'm going to browse to this sample spreadsheet. Sample spreadsheet's this one right here. Click on OK, and I'm going to go ahead and upload. And here's where things start to get just a little bit different. So once this file is uploaded, you'll see now where I have a choice. So I have 2 different options for importing this. One is standard import. This is the same import that has been available with Cloud Converter for the last couple of months. It does as many tabs as you want, but it does not give you any ability to modify that data or that configuration prior to actually building it in Salesforce. So that ability to modify, that's where this advanced options comes in. So we're going to go ahead and click on Show Advanced Options. Now the first thing that Show Advanced Options does is it goes out and queries your existing org to find out objects that you might want to reference or look up to in terms of this new data that you're uploading. So it's going out and getting a number of objects, it's getting fields that are related to that, and then it comes over to our detail for a particular object. You'll see here I'm going from left to right in the Excel spreadsheet. You remember I had publishers on one side, publications on the other. So we're starting with publisher, and you'll see that there's quite a few options. So first, we no longer have to put up with just using the auto number for the object name. So I'm going to go ahead and uncheck that field because I don't want the auto number. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put data from the name field into that instead. I'm not going to edit object label or the plural label, although I could. And then down here, you'll see where I can change types if I want to, right? So this ID is in fact text, so I'm not going to change that. But it's also going to be an external ID, so I'm going to go ahead and check that. Name, I'm going to leave as it is. I'll go ahead and click on Import this object. It gives me a confirmation dialog to make sure that I've checked everything over and it does look good. So I'll just do that real quick. Everything looks good. Click on OK. And you'll see it goes ahead and it starts the import process. So I'm going to go ahead and fast forward a little bit to the end, but basically this looks exactly like it did before. It's doing the same kind of things where it's building the object, it's building fields, the page layout, the tabs, all the good stuff that it was doing before, it's still doing. Okay, so about a minute has passed, and you'll see we're back at the Preparing Next Object screen. So this is going out and augmenting the data it downloaded before with new information so that we have, again, a complete list of objects and fields that we could relate to. So we just completed publishers, and now you'll see where we're on publications. So I'm going to do a couple of the same things. I'm going to uncheck that auto number because that's not useful for me. I'm going to use data from the field title because that's what I want to see. Label and plural I'm going to leave as the same. And then what I'm going to do here is ID is going to become an external ID. Pub ID, that's actually the publisher ID. So I'm going to change that to a lookup. And I'm going to tell it to go look into the publisher object and match in regards to the custom ID field that I added before. So title, text is fine. Author, text is fine. Status is a little bit different. So status is just in stock, out of print, that kind of thing. So rather than leaving that plain text, I'm going to change that to a pick list. So I've gone ahead and said I'm not going to use the auto number. I'm going to display field data from the field title. ID is an external ID. Publications ID is looking up to the publisher object using the ID field. And status is going to be a pick list. So I'll go ahead and click on import this object. Make sure that I have double checked it. And we come into the progress dialog again. So you'll note that this will now start refreshing, and it will start to have the publications information on it. So again, I'm going to go ahead and fast forward a little bit to the end so you can skip some of this. Okay, so it's now about a minute into the future, and you'll see we're on the import successful screen. So this screen is very similar to the one that you are used to seeing for the regular standard import, and now we have the chance to go ahead and do the same thing. So I'm going to go ahead and go to the profile list, and I'm going to edit System Administrator. On System Administrator, you'll see now where we have Publications, and I'm going to default that to On, and we have Publishers, and I'm going to default that to On. Go ahead and click on Save. And then I'll go over here to the More Tabs, and I'll click on Customize My Tabs. And what I'm going to do is actually just add those to my personal tabs real quick. So I'll go ahead and click on Save. Great, so now you see where I have Publishers and Publications. So I'm going to go ahead and click on Publications. So in Publications, I'm going to click on Go for All, and you'll see where now I have the 4 publications that were in the Excel spreadsheet all listed here. So I'm going to start by looking at the How to Write Excel Files book. And you'll see we've got a couple of interesting things. First, we have a link over to Reed's Books, and that takes us to the publishers. Go back over to Publication here. Hit the back button. And I want to edit this. And so when I edit this, you'll see that we have a lookup, and then we also have a pick list right here. So the pick list options are advanced order, in stock, or out of print, and it actually pulled that from the Excel spreadsheet. So if we look over here, you'll see where we have for statuses in stock, advanced order, and out of print. So pretty exciting stuff. So the other thing that you can do is you can continue to modify your page layouts as you like, but that's just standard Salesforce functionality, not necessarily part of the Cloud Converter. So that's the update to Cloud Converter. Hope you find that useful. If you have questions, or you'd like to request a feature, or you'd simply like to talk about a particular challenge you're having in migrating an app to the cloud, please feel free to contact me. My email address is rkarlberg@modelmetrics.com. rkarlberg@modelmetrics.com. Thank you very much.